So today on the Timeless Golf Swing series, we are joined by Steve, and he's got an elbow problem, a cricket problem, really. Too much
cricket swing issue.
Yeah.
Typical effect that we see in a golf swing, so the elbows don't move correctly. So we made a significant change in his setup and backswing, and boy, did it make a difference.
Yeah, again, he's gone out absolutely bored. My favourite line, look out for it in the film, is "That was lovely." So today we're joined by Steve, whose favourite golfing moment is on the 18th at Hilton Head. A pretty good experience. We're wondering if we can match that today. So Steve, hi, thanks for joining us today. Just for everybody else's benefit, we want age, handicap, and where do you play?
Age, I'm 69.
Oh, wow.
17th birthday, so you can say I don't.
I didn't know. Honestly, you don't look that age.
I've got a handicap of 17.7 and I play at Tadmartin Heath.
Yeah, well, welcome. Yeah. Thank you very much. So where's your weakest point of your golf then?
My weakest point is the start of the backswing. My tendency, my habit, is that I slide into my right hip instead of turning, and from that point everything starts to go wrong.
Okay.
I adjust and manipulate, but it's just not right.
What about your mindset on the golf course? Are you frustrated, upset? What's your...
As the default sets in, I get more frustrated, I get anxious then, which means that it makes the problem worse, and it's just then a roller coaster. So I start out with a good mental attitude, but once things start to go wrong, I find it difficult to regroup and get out of it. Yeah.
I'm imagining that you might be like that as well. So golf is an emotional game just as much as a technical game. So let's see what Julian can do for you today.
Sounds good.
Looking forward to it.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's
go.
Steve, great to see you.
Right.
How's things?
Good, thank you. Good.
How's your health?
A little lower back stiffness. Still struggle with that. It comes and goes. This morning I can feel it a little bit, but it's not too bad.
Okay, so we've got potentially some mobility issues, which we'll obviously work around. Mentally, how are we doing? How's your golf?
Good. Well, golf is not where I want it to be. When things start to go wrong on the course, I get anxious.
Yeah.
And that makes things worse. I get tense, and then that spoils the enjoyment. But I'm looking forward to today. I'm not anxious this morning.
Perfect.
Yeah.
So golf's not your first sport.
Nope.
What did you used to play?
Too much cricket.
Right.
Well, I didn't think so in the day, but 5 games a week sometimes.
That's a lot of cricket.
Yeah, a lot of cricket. It's become a legacy really with my golf, because I move like I'm playing cricket, not like I'm playing golf. Yeah.
So wouldn't surprise me today if I see some sort of elbow or right arm issue in the golf swing. I don't know that. We're going to see.
Yep.
We'll watch you hit a few shots. So I'm just going to let you hit a couple of shots. We'll have a look at some data. We'll have a look at what's happening, and then we'll make a start.
Okay, cookie. Right.
Take that shot, won't you?
I think so.
Okay. How did the swing feel?
That felt as good as I can, I think. I think that's an optimal swing for me. It felt easy and relaxed. I felt I came away from the ball at a nice tempo. But I can't repeat it.
Perfect. So just looking at some of the numbers there, 2.3 degrees in to out, which is a wonderful club path. Side spin, a little bit over 500, 570. Carried 93 yards, stopped at 95 yards, and you were 2.2 degrees down on the shot. So I think we can probably increase that distance a little bit, just through something I expected to see in the backswing, of which was showing up loud and clear.
Right.
Okay. So can you make your setup to an imaginary golf ball? Okay. Think about cricket now. What would this elbow tend to do as you were moving the cricket bat away? It tends to go a bit more that way?
Yeah, because you lift up, and that pushes the elbow back, because the movement then is straight through.
Okay, so what we know is the elbow is a hinge joint. It just goes up and down ideally. Now at setup, if we have the elbow turned out this way from here, as it bends, it would be very normal for it to get into this position in the backswing, which is something that I've just seen you do in your backswing. So visually from here, it's looking a bit more that way. So if you could just make your setup with the elbow, it's almost kind of pointing that way, pointing this way. Yeah. So as it naturally folds, it tends to look a bit this way. So on paper, they call it a chicken wing. I don't really like that phrase, but it's what it's known as. But for me, it's just the elbow bending naturally, but because we've set it in such a position, it's easy for it to do that. So what I want us to have a think about to start off with is if we can get your elbow in a better position at setup. So the easiest way to do this, if the palm of your hand is facing towards me, if you bend your elbow now, it points straight up. Yep. Then imagine from there, if we kept that elbow in that same position but turned your hand here, it would still fold this way. Okay. Now if we let the elbow turn out that way, as it folds, it goes sideways. Yeah, so that is a really normal thing to see golfers doing, especially in the backswing, if they don't pay much attention to the elbow position. Right. So can we now make your normal grip, but with the elbow, does it feel like it's pointing more towards your hip or outside your hip?
To the hip.
So it's pointing towards the hip, great, and then we'll just turn your hand into a good grip, that's it, and then if you keep hold of it. So from here now, if we fold cock the wrist and fold the elbow, what's that right elbow done?
It's just gone forward and backwards, basically. It's just cocked.
Yeah. So if you stay there and turn to the side, would you say now that the elbow's pointing more down? Yep. Great. So a common issue that we see golfers with, when the elbow goes the wrong way and it goes out here, I would say you're limited to how far back you could swing the club. Wouldn't want to go much more than that. Really common to see then a separation of the right hand coming away from the left hand from here. Only because there's nowhere else to go.
Physically I'm stuck.
So if we let that soften,
the grip comes in.
And that's come in, but look how much further the swing's gone back.
I can also now feel a stretch in both hips. On the outside of my left hip, and I can feel, not a tension in my right hip, but I can feel that there's something going on here.
Would you say it's turned more?
Turned, yeah, rather than, because that's so easy to just slide into my right hip.
And that would be a really common thing for golfers. As they turn, they move the hip to the right, but it's not really turning. It's what we call sliding. So it's a weight transfer, but not in the right way. And from there, the effect then is for the elbow to start to fly out to the side. So by presetting the elbow in a good position, making that nice grip, as we start the backswing now, you might find, let's show it, let's see what happens. So the elbow feels like it's pointing towards the hip now. So as we start that backswing, your hip's actually turning a bit more. And then as the wrist cock, the elbow folds down. But look how much further that swing's going back now.
Gosh.
Does that feel comfortable?
It does.
Yeah? Not too unnatural? Different?
It feels different. It doesn't feel unnatural, but it's very different to how I normally feel.
Okay, definitely. So let's start again. Now, if we let the elbow go out this way, and then when it goes to the side, that probably feels a bit more familiar.
Yeah, very familiar.
Yeah. And so now, I don't think you can get that club to go back much further than that.
No.
So potentially, that's going to limit distance. Yeah, so if we can have a swing that goes a little bit further back and the momentum's right, the relaxation's right, that's going to help. Okay, so what we'll do, let's have a couple of practice swings. Let's see if we can get this feeling. So no golf ball. So we're going to turn to hip height and then feel like you're cocking the wrists over the shoulder. Yeah, cool. And again. Can we just do that a little bit slower? So we're just turning to hip height and then just let it fold. So
down.
Does this now feel like the elbow's a bit more down?
It does, but it still kind of wants to.
It wants to go out,
Yes,
because that's default.
Yeah.
So years of training yourself to do that well in cricket. Unfortunately, in golf, it doesn't. Ideally, we don't want it to do that. So imagine now if we were to throw this over your right shoulder, and then you turn to the side. There we are at the top of the backswing.
Wow.
Yeah. So that for me looks much more consistent. That'll help bring the club on a nice path. Okay. So we turn to the side, chuck it over your shoulder. as we've done that, the elbow stayed down. Yeah. So I call this the magic triangle. So it looks like a triangle from here, from there. Whereas before, when the arms were spread, it didn't look the same. Yeah, it's a real separation.
The feel is completely different.
Limiting, I would describe it as. Okay.
That feels not under control.
Yeah.
And my hands don't feel as if
this hand's come off the grip.
Yeah, I don't.
The right hand.
It feels unstable.
Yeah, cool. So if we just start again. So if we now turn the hip to the side and then fold the elbow, look at that now. It's really going that much further. Okay. Now this is a big change today. Don't mistake this for a simple change. On paper, this looks completely different. The arms are moving completely different. The club's in a totally different place at the top of the backswing, which potentially could throw your timing off a little bit. But what we want to do now is hit a few shots and just see what happens, because what you think's happening and what actually happens may be different.
Okay.
We don't know, but we'll see. So you can't do anything wrong, Steve. Let's just try a few shots. So really normal to see this.
Okay.
Yeah. The nice thing is in here, or when we're practicing, Steve, there's no consequence to hitting a bad shot. So all we're going to do is learn from it. Learning should occur. So we turn.
I'll take that one.
That's pretty much towards target, wasn't it? Yeah. What we might have noticed now is something's changed. So your carry's now just shot up to 102, and your total distance has gone now to 111. So there's been a significant gain in yardage, and we've only done this a couple of times.
Yeah.
The sound of the strike sounded like you were gripping it a little bit tight.
Do you know?
I don't know whether you were or not.
I was, and actually as I stood over the ball, I was thinking, do you know, my grip tension's gone up. And I think that was, I didn't, because I probably hit a bad shot before, I don't know.
Correct. Now, often that tension goes up when we're trying to make a change.
Okay.
Because we're deliberately trying to put the club in a different position. It's really normal to tighten up to do that.
Yeah.
So on this one, I want you to think of, if you imagine holding the club as tight as you can for 2 seconds, and then just ease off a little bit. Yeah, and then your body should feel more comfortable, and then we'll go through the change again.
Okay. Oh my word, that felt good.
Sounded different again, didn't it?
It did, didn't it?
Yeah. Let's get another one. So if you can turn the club to hip height first, okay, so what should the right elbow do from that point?
Stayed pointed down.
So it's much more down, yeah? We'll probably see it still want to go out slightly because that's been the default for quite some time, but the more we can be consciously aware of what that right elbow's doing, the better. And then from here it forms that lovely triangular look that I like to see at the top of the backswing. So I'm just going to do this again with you. So we turn to the side and cop that way. That's it, okay? Now if your hip just slides to the side, so it just goes that way, that elbow wants to come out, and now
it's horrible, isn't it?
Don't feel like you've got a hold of it.
No.
Yeah, and it
Totally unstable.
just
Everything
looks weak.
Yeah.
You can hit good shots with it. Don't get me wrong, but consistency can't be there.
Yeah.
So we're turning the hip now. So your right hip now is more that way and less what we call lateral. That's it, and look how that folds. Great, much more natural. Back to impact.
Oh, that felt fast and hurried.
It's not uncommon to see this right elbow position, just moves the club off plane. But for me, the thing I don't like is how that right hand comes off the grip. If we're doing that, we've got a looseness to it. So
I guess that also makes you grip harder with your left hand.
it does indeed, yeah, and that's when we tend to lead with the left hand, block it right, or flip it over and hit it left. So what I'm doing now is I'm just presetting my elbow pointing towards my hip, palm of my hand faces out, and then I leave my elbow there and just turn the hand into the normal grip. So now we've got the folding movement. So I've just preset it, turn my club to hip height, so I'm turning my body to hip height, Now I fold. Now we end up with that nice triangular look at the top of the backswing. Yeah. My elbow's now pointing the wrong way, so when that folds, it comes this way. Hand comes off the grip, and now we can see I can't physically get that club to go anymore.
You're only hitting it with your hands and your arms now.
See, so I just slide, turn the elbow out.
And I recognise that.
Horrible shot, isn't it? Horrible feeling. So there's three things that we really like to see in a golf swing. What we call our timeless golf swing is a sensation of freedom, what we call a free-flowing motion. Yeah, that can't happen if we're locked up tight. What we call a coordinated movement through impact. So again, we can't have that coordination if things are not in the right place at the right time. And then our signature 6-second finish. If we can start to hold that lovely finish in balance facing your target, we're going to hit a lot of good golf shots. So
what's making sense? There's one simple change of setup really that's going to create a different chain reaction.
Wonderful.
Because from there, I'm gonna start to make all the right movements, whereas that way is the wrong chain reaction.
Yeah, you can see the hips don't need to turn because the elbow can just do its own thing. So it's also helping the shoulder as well. Now, if you've got any shoulder issues, putting this out to the side can create extra tension. When this is down, your shoulder's moving much more naturally. So if you've got any shoulder issues, that won't show up so much with this. So again, let's try a couple more shots. Stay there. Where's your weight?
Outside of my left foot.
Okay, where are you facing?
To target.
Yeah, how did it feel?
Absolutely lovely.
So we turn to hip height, wrists are cocking, and now we're into a really good position. So you've got a lovely hip turn here, and the elbows are now both down and level.
So we've had a great time today. How was that, Steve?
Loved every minute of it. It really was enjoyable. Thank you.
Yeah, you're doing great. My favourite one line was the lovely golf shot. That's got to be worth aiming for, isn't it?
Absolutely, loved it very much so. Yeah.
So what's your key takeaways, would you say?
That means that I keep my right elbow pointing down right the way through the swing, and it gets me into the right position. And my right hip has to move. It has no choice. Different, but surprisingly comfortable. It wasn't a strain physically. Different because I was just in different places, but once I got my head around it, it actually felt much better, and I could get through the ball, and it was easy to get to finish as well.
Awesome.
Yeah, brilliant. So how did you get on with the scores then?
So
where we start?
Again, I've scored this out of 12. Looking at different parts, looking at the setup, the movement, the arms and the wrist movement.
Yeah.
The arms and the wrist movement were an issue. So ultimately, they were affected by setup. So because your elbow wasn't in its best place, functionally, the elbow was going more to the side rather than folding this way. So setup we adjusted. Hopefully not a big change, but a significant change from my point of view.
Yep.
That then allowed your arms and wrists to move so much better in the backswing. It also coordinated much better with the body movement, so your hips became more rotational and less lateral, which is great. So at the start, I scored you at 5 out of 12.
Oh,
Would you like to know?
I'm surprised it was that high.
Would you like to know now that it's shot up to 8 out of 12?
Blimey, that's amazing.
Big change.
Thank you.
Today.
That's brilliant.
yeah. So thank you very much for coming anyway,
No,
Steve.
it's been a pleasure. It's been great.
Hope that you've learned something from our YouTube channel. Remember, we're all about educational golf videos here at Proper Golfing. I would say that if you wanted to download some free information, you've got the principles of the timeless golf swing. That's on a free download on the website, and you get also a free insight into the Proper Golfing Handbook. So it's at propergolfing.com. And we hope to see you next time on the next episode of the Timeless Golf Swing series. So I'm Joe Cameron.
I'm Julian Mellor.
And this is Steve.
I'm Steve.
And we'll see you again next time. Take care. Thanks, Steve. Thank you. Bye.